Hello students, Professor Piggy here. Today we are trotting confidently into the barnyard of defense in depth, where we build sturdy fences, strong doors, and clever traps so the wolf never gets a single hoof inside our network. Malware remains one of the most significant threats to any organization, and the CompTIA exams expect you to understand exactly how layered security controls reduce that risk. When we stack multiple protective measures together, we create redundancy so that if one control fails, another stands firm and keeps the data safe in the sty. One of the first defensive layers sits at the email gateway in the form of spam filters. Phishing attacks are commonly delivered as malicious spam, so blocking spam before it reaches users removes the opportunity for them to click a malicious link. Many organizations route email through a unified threat management device before it ever touches the mail server, filtering unwanted messages at the boundary. If the user never receives the malicious message, then the wolf has no doorway through which to whisper his tricks. Spam filters typically allow you to identify email addresses as safe, or to be blocked, including entire safe domains. Email gateways often also run anti-malware software that scans attachments before delivery. If a message contains a malicious attachment, the gateway can strip the file, quarantine it, and notify the user that it was removed for security reasons. This prevents users from accidentally executing harmful code on their systems. It is far easier to block malware at the gate than to chase it once it has begun rooting around inside the barn. Every workstation and server should also run anti-malware software. Although the term antivirus is still widely used, modern products detect and remove multiple forms of malware, including viruses, worms, trojans, rootkits, spyware, and adware. Real-time protection continuously monitors system activity and scans files when they are opened, downloaded, or executed. Scheduled scans run at defined intervals, and manual scans can be initiated when suspicious activity is detected. Antivirus software uses two primary detection methods that you must define precisely for the exam. Signature-based detection identifies known malware by comparing files to a database of signature definition files that contain known patterns. Heuristic-based detection identifies previously unknown malware by analyzing behavior and characteristics that resemble malicious activity. When malware is detected, the software typically quarantines the file, isolating it so it cannot execute while still allowing analysis. Because new malware variants appear constantly, signature files must be updated regularly. Most systems automatically download updated definitions several times per day to maintain effectiveness. When administrators manually update systems that lack internet connectivity, they must verify file integrity by comparing hashes of the downloaded signature file to the vendor-provided hash. This ensures the definition file has not been tampered with by the wolf during transit. Heuristic analysis often executes suspicious code inside a sandbox or virtualized environment. This controlled setting allows the system to observe behavior without risking the live operating system. Malicious programs frequently attempt unusual actions such as modifying system files, injecting code into processes, or altering registry settings in abnormal ways. By detecting these behaviors, heuristic engines can identify zero-day exploits and polymorphic malware that lack known signatures. Another protective mechanism is the use of file integrity monitors. A file integrity monitor establishes a baseline by calculating cryptographic hashes of critical system files. It periodically recalculates hashes and compares them to the baseline values. If the hashes differ, it indicates that a file has been modified, which may signal a rootkit or other compromise. Firewalls and unified threat management systems operate at network boundaries. They inspect traffic entering and leaving the network, blocking unauthorized or suspicious connections. Unified threat management systems often integrate firewall functionality with intrusion detection, intrusion prevention, content filtering, and spam filtering into a single appliance. By monitoring traffic at the perimeter, these systems reduce the likelihood that malware ever gains initial access. Now we must address why social engineering works, because technical controls alone cannot protect a careless piglet. Attackers frequently rely on psychological principles to manipulate victims into bypassing security. Authority is one such principle, where individuals comply with perceived figures of power. Impersonation, whaling, and vishing attacks often exploit authority by pretending to represent executives, government agencies, or trusted organizations. Intimidation combines pressure and fear to rush decisions. An attacker may threaten consequences or imply that failure to act will result in financial loss or disciplinary action. Urgency and scarcity similarly push victims to act quickly without proper verification. Ransomware frequently uses countdown timers to create urgency, pressuring victims to pay before data is permanently lost. Consensus, also known as social proof, convinces victims that others have already validated a malicious product or message. Fake testimonials and fraudulent reviews create the illusion of legitimacy. Familiarity and trust are built over time, especially in vishing or long-term social engineering campaigns. When users understand these psychological tactics, they are far less likely to open the gate for the wolf. Threat intelligence sources provide valuable information to anticipate and respond to attacks. The National Institute of Standards and Technology maintains the National Vulnerability Database, which catalogs publicly known vulnerabilities. The MITRE Corporation maintains the Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures List, which assigns standardized identifiers to vulnerabilities. These resources support vulnerability management and consistent reporting. Standards such as TAXII and STIX enable structured sharing of threat intelligence between organizations. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency operates automated indicator sharing to distribute threat indicators in near real time. Open Source Intelligence, or OSINT, gathers threat data from public websites and social media. Indicators of compromise, or IoCs, include file hashes, malicious URLs, suspicious IP addresses, and other artifacts that signal a potential breach. By monitoring IoCs, defenders can detect and respond to incidents more rapidly. Additional intelligence can come from dark web monitoring, predictive analysis, threat maps, vendor advisories, academic journals, and request for comments published by the Internet Engineering Task Force. Public-private partnerships such as InfraGard facilitate collaboration between industry and law enforcement. Each of these sources contributes pieces to the larger security puzzle, helping organizations anticipate the wolf's next move rather than merely reacting. Remember for your exam that blocking malware and other attacks requires layered controls, updated detection mechanisms, informed users, and shared intelligence. No single fence post keeps the barn secure, but together they form a formidable barrier. When you combine technical safeguards with user education and proactive intelligence gathering, you dramatically reduce organizational risk. Keep studying with discipline and curiosity, and you will outsmart every wolf that dares to huff and puff at your network. If you found this lesson helpful for your certification journey, be sure to like and subscribe. Oink.